Hello, and welcome to Absolute BSS, the YouTube channel where we mostly talk about Battle Saga by Bandai Namco. But today I'm playing SolForge Fusion Digital, the latest game to launch from Stoneblade Entertainment. SolForge Fusion is a reboot of an old game called SolForge that was digital only. They made SolForge Fusion a couple of years ago and made it physical. And then people were like, wow, this would do really well digitally. So, go figure. But they did make the digital client, and it just got released to the backers of the Kickstarter campaign. I'm one of those backers. I love Stoneblade Entertainment. My wife and I have played the Ascension deck building phone app almost 2,000 times together over the course of our relationship. We did long distance, so we played that a bunch. And even when she has to go away for work, we're playing Ascension on our phones. So, big fan of Stoneblade. I got to play this for the first time at Gen Con last year, so I've been really, really excited to get the digital app to launch. And I'm just going to play a couple of games with a couple of my own decks. So, if you know anything about me, I'm a big fan of Keyforge, and I love the unique deck game concept that Richard Garfield and Fantasy Flight Games came up with Keyforge. SolForge Fusion takes a similar approach, and it makes sense because Richard Garfield worked with Justin Gary at Stoneblade to make this game, or this version of this game, right? So in SolForge Fusion, you have two 20-card decks that you mix together. I'm sorry, 10-card decks that you mix together. And each deck has 10 unique cards, like a list that is unique completely to each half deck. Your list will never look the same as anybody else's, and therefore there's a ton of uniqueness throughout the game. Every time you open a booster pack or get a new half deck, it's completely unique to you and your collection. The fun part about this game that does separate it from Keyforge, technically, is you take any two half decks of two different factions, smash them together, and try to find combos within those half decks. And it keeps it exciting, right, to open new packs and stuff like that. Keyforge has integrated Alliance, which you take the 12-card pods or houses of up to 3 different decks and mash those together. Just to give a little more player agency. Instead of just opening one bad deck, you might open 2 medium decks that might mix well together. So with SolForge Fusion, that's kind of the goal in mind. So, for example, this is a fused deck that I created called Rock of Mages. And because it's 2 half decks, you have to decide before each game which Forgeborn you want to use. Each Forgeborn has its own unique set of abilities. So that is another thing that separates each individual half deck. So in this one, I'm using the Forgeborn Sunder. These are Sunder's abilities that activate at different points during the game. I'll explain that later. But here's a list of the creatures that we're going to see in my deck. So these are coming in. The red ones are coming in from Sunder's half deck. The blue ones you'll see are coming in from Steel Rosetta. So I'll do a quick rundown here of what we're looking at. This is the level 1 version of the card. These are the cards you're going to see first in the game. Every time you play a card, you put its upgraded version into your discard pile so that you'll see it later. When a card leaves play, it gets banished and you won't see it for the rest of the game. So, for instance, Raging Stormling here is a creature. It's an elemental type, and it has these keywords and no other ability text. This is its power, and this is its health. So the first time we see Raging Stormling come into play, it's a 6 power with 3 health creature. At level 2, it goes up to 10 and 5, and at level 3, it goes up to 12 and 8, so it can get pretty powerful. Here's Piercing War Stoker. It ignores Guard while this is dealing damage. Summoning Giant is a creature warrior. When it's deployed or played from my hand, I can play up to 1 spell sprite minion, basically a token creature. But this is where the deck starts to come together. This is why I've built this deck the way I have. This is Blizzard Shaman. He is one of my mages in my deck. After he's in play, at any time on my turn, I may choose to activate him to deal 2 damage to all creatures. So it's good board control. And as you see, when he levels up, he can start dealing a lot more damage to all creatures. That includes my own, which can get me into some sticky situations, but you have to weigh that risk reward here with this damage. Stormcaller is another mage. And her deploy ability is the enemy player may choose to take 3 damage. If they don't, you may play a spell for free. So again, every time you play a card, it gets upgraded for later. So being able to play a card for free on your turn is huge, because that opens up more options for you as you're shuffling through the deck and as the game goes on longer. Stormcaller gets even more powerful with that choice on her deploy. The enemy player might choose to take 7 damage. If they don't, you may play a level 1 or 2 spell for free. And then Stormcaller at level 3 says the enemy player may choose to take 10 damage, which at the end of the game, that's a fifth of your life. If they don't, you may play a spell for free. Any spell. So we also have Venerable Master, which is another mage. When you play another mage, play up to 1 spell sprite minion. So kind of seeing where we're going with this, right? This is just the red creatures, but I like my mages. And this deck wants to see mages, and it wants to flood the board, and then it wants to play these spells, because spell sprite minions get more powerful the more spells you play. So over into the blue side, our very first creature, Aetherforge Oracle, is a mage. So these trigger off of each other. Aetherforge Oracle also says, on play, upgrade a card in your hand, then discard it. And that's the same at level 2. But then at level 3, upgrade a card in your hand. Don't discard it. And when you upgrade a card, you may upgrade it up to 2 times instead. So in the end game, when you play a level 3 Aetherforge Oracle, you can immediately upgrade another level 1 card from your hand that you haven't used this whole game, immediately make it level 3, and you might be able to use it. Bolstering Techno Hulk has some mobility and some armor it can give to creatures. This is a robot. Epoch Soldier is a warrior. But then we get back down to another mage. Palladium Hindermind says give one of your creatures 3 armor this turn. You may move that creature to any lane if you have another mage in play, which we have plenty. Salvage Scrapper is a robot. Steadfast Drone is a robot. However, Steadfast Drone is also very pivotal in this deck to be upgrading cards while I'm not playing them, to make sure that I have enough resources towards the end of the game to finish it. So we have our mages, we have some robots, but what about the spells? Well, red has a lot of good spells in here for more board control, like Conflagrate. Deal 2 damage to each of up to 2 different creatures and or players. Increase this damage by 1 for each mage you have in play. So now you can see I read this deck list, and then I went to a different faction to try to see which one had the most mages, which one had the most spells, and my Steel Rosetta blue deck had a bunch. So I put those together, played this at locals actually a couple months ago, and it was the first deck that I wanted to try when I got the digital version. So Conflagrate upgrades and starts throwing a bunch of more damage around to players. Pyre Song can destroy enemy creatures with decreased health. Burnout lets me play spell sprite minions and then give all of my creatures increased damage. Aegis Wings gives me more damage and mobility, which means I can move my creatures between lanes to find the opening and push the most damage through. And then Digitize is also just a good spell to power up my creatures, especially the ones that have a little less health. And Gauntlets of Soulgrim deals damage and gives me some padding. So I have 6 different spells in this deck, which you're looking to play spells to power up your spell sprite minions. But also, Aetherforge Oracle and Stormcaller are trying to upgrade these spells to use them later in the game. So this is my completely unique deck. Unique to me. It's from the first set. It's very, very fun. We're going to see how it plays now in an online battle here on SolForge Fusion Digital Client. So again, this is out for beta backers for the Kickstarter, but it will be released to everyone else within a couple of months, and eventually it'll find its way to Android phones, Mac, and then iPhone in that order. So we have the Forge, which means we go first. The turn order here is I make a move, my opponent makes a move, I make a second move, my opponent makes a second move, and then we go into battle. So, oops, I picked the wrong deck. Okay, we're going to learn this one. We're going to play this guy, Drix, who lets me play a Gizmo minion. That sucks. I just went through the entire deck list, and I forgot I loaded the wrong deck. But that's really embarrassing. What a weird video. Well, we're going to learn this one on the fly. So Drix is a cool scientist creature. on activate, you can play a Gizmo minion. So I'm already flooding the board. Gizmo minions are really cool because you can play a different creature from your hand into the same lane, get rid of the Gizmo, and you give that new creature +2/+2. This turn, an enemy creature loses all printed abilities. Give your creatures +2/+2, or when another one of your creatures enters the back row, give this +1/+1. That's what we're going to do. We are going to replace the Gizmo to make a big old Torgmai Guardian. And so starting next turn, as when I don't have the Forge, my creatures come in the back row and they can't initiate combat in a lane. But what that also means is I'll be building up my Torgmai Guardian on the front lines. So let's also take a look at what their Oros does at different levels. So right now we're in the first phase. Once we take 3 rounds of this format of back and forth battle, we'll upgrade to level 2. At level 2, their Oros says Shapeshift. Give one of your creatures +3/+3, and it has all creature types this turn. My level 2 ability is the same. Their level 3 ability is Growth Aura. Give your creatures +4 health, then you gain +4 health. And mine is Bark Skin. Give up to 2 of your creatures 8 armor. So what we saw here is the hibernating Stormling get powered up and move over to fight my other guy. But that means I kept Drix, so I'll be able to play another Gizmo minion this turn. Oh, okay, so we're looking for combos here, right? Energy Prison is good. I can upgrade a card in my hand, then discard it. And when this is upgraded, I can play a Gizmo minion for free. So that's a little bit of a combo. Play this, upgrade it. Play this for free, upgrade it. And then I still have another action to put a creature down, like maybe play the Impulse Mage. So my opponent is taking some time to think. Pax Blessing. Choosing 1 here. And we're going to see a Wisp minion come in. Okay. So yeah, we're going to do the Energy Prison. We're going to turn that Stormling into a 1/1. We're going to upgrade this card from our hand. And oh, I guess it doesn't play a thing. I was wrong about the timing of that. But we are going to bring in a Gizmo minion here with Drix's ability. So that's our first action for this turn. I can't believe that I took all that time to explain my favorite deck and then I loaded up a different one. I don't even know what this deck is called. But it looks like it upgrades well and has some pretty big dinos in it. Speaking of, let's take a look at this guy. Swamp Moss Lurker. If you have more than 50 health, this is free. Okay, good. So that wasn't free for them. The Pulse Mage couldn't kill this even if I upgrade it, but the Stegodon could. However, if I deploy this into an unopposed lane, I get 3 health. I don't know what to do here. They're really outnumbering me. Okay. We're going to play the Stouthide Stegodon over here and gain some life. And we'll also threaten a good attack on the next turn. The only problem is we're about to lose Drix. But we'll see an upgraded Drix later on in the game, hopefully. Lost my Gizmo. Only took 1 damage from this lane, though, where I would have taken 8. I gotta see if I can make a comeback here. Armored Justicar is powerful. I can go wide with Summoning Council. Activate, play a Wisp minion. Okay, I can go really, really wide. But this card is good. What do I do? Let's bring in the Relentless Wanderers, who is a defender, so it will stay in the back lane. And we'll use its ability to play a Wisp minion right here. So that'll soak up that 5 damage. Stouthide Stegodon has Breakthrough, which is basically Trample. So they'd have to put something with decent life to prevent a bunch of damage going through. And so it looks like green-red against green-blue on my side. Have I played any white cards? Oh yeah, I played a couple. So let's take a look at Drix when he gets bigger, when it evolves. At level 2, I can play a Gizmo minion, and when I replace a creature in another lane, basically Drix acts as a Gizmo. And at level 3, I can play a Mega Gizmo and do the same thing. Well, not the same thing. But basically, anytime I replace, it's +10/+10. So, oh, they played a Shroudthorn Splicer, which let them put an Oak Father over here in this lane. That's not good for me. And again, I have the Forge, so they'll have an answer here. If this replaced a creature, give it +3/+3. 8/9. I would be able to get rid of the Oak Father. But also, I just want to take out some of their board. And I have the... Yeah, I'm going to give them a decision. I'm going to play my Armored Justicar over here. And since I have the Forge, it comes in at the top of the lane, meaning it will initiate combat in this lane. So I have 2 unblocked creatures here. They only have 1. These 2 will not fight this turn because they're both in the back. So really, they're looking at 12 damage. I'm looking at 4. And they only have 1 more turn left, so hopefully they can't fill both of these lanes with defenders. And we're going to push some damage in here early. Armored Justicar is a vanilla creature, but it just gets crazy stats. It's basically a 12/11. Armor refreshes if it's printed at the start of every phase. So even if they break through this 2 armor, it'll come back next turn. But yeah, SolForge is very fun. The card pool is very big. The way that the cards are generated algorithmically, like, there are different versions of each card. So, like, Stouthide Stegodon, there might be a different type of Stegodon. So they'll have similar stats, but the keywords there, like Stouthide, tells the algorithm how to add additional things to the card. I hope that makes sense. So Rhymehorn Charger is going to be able to trade with my Justicar. But Stego puts some damage through. My Wisp soaks up that damage. I take 4 here. No battle here. Ooh. All right. So we are in cycle 2. They have the Forge. We both have the same ability of Shapeshift. We can give one of our creatures +3/+3, and it has all creature types this turn. And we have until the end of this phase to use that ability. We can only use it once. But we're already seeing some upgrades here. So our Torgmite Guardian is actually pretty decent to have here. It's pretty big, 7/8. We can block a lane and then bring something else in and power it up. Oh, okay. So Oak Father just got a buff. +4/+4. It's a 12/12 now. And I believe it does have Breakthrough. It does. So this is 7 damage coming past the lane to me right now. So we are going to play the Torg My Guardian right here to soak up that 5 damage. And then we'll use Relentless Wanderer's ability to put a Wisp minion right here to soak up this damage. And when it comes in, it gets +2/+2. Or my Torg My Guardian gets +2/+2. So it's getting even stronger. This back and forth is what makes the game very interesting. And changing the turn order every turn really makes a difference. You're not guaranteed to see every card in your deck either. And sequencing really does matter in this one. So Shroudthorn Splicer comes in to replace one of their minions with an Oakfather minion. So the Wisp just upgraded to an 8/8. And then this is a free action because they have 40 or more health. So they filled the board. I have one more turn to respond, and then we start doing battle. I think what I'm going to do is play this to power up my defender and ready it so that I can use its ability again to play another Wisp minion, so I'm not taking as much damage. And then do I power up one of my creatures? Yeah, I'm going to shapeshift. So that's my one use ability for this cycle. But I powered up my Stegodon to make it survive and deal a little bit of by the way damage to my opponent. So I kill there, the breakthrough adds 2. These guys trade. And I only take the 1 damage from the breakthrough here. So I have another turn to figure out how I'm going to deal with this really big Oak Daddy. All right. That creature has increased. Ah, okay. So this is a free card because Oakfather has increased stats. So we're going to just start here by zapping that down a little bit. And I can't put this Stegodon anywhere where it's unopposed. So for now, we're just going to bring in our Relentless Warrior. And since it comes into the back, Torgmai gets a little boost. And it only comes in the back because it's a defender. But then we're going to activate its ability to bring in a Wisp. And we'll end the turn. So we got to do a lot more there. The free actions are something you want to look at too when you're building a deck. If you can manage to find ways to trigger those free actions by yourself, that's the best case scenario. You know, for this one, it's just pretty good, pretty easy to do. If you have more than 40 health, which by the time this upgrades, hopefully you do, it's just a free creature to drop down. And then at level 3, holy hell, I don't think I've ever seen this. Give this strength equal to your health. So by the next cycle, when we see this, it could come out with 42 health if I don't do any damage. So that's a really powerful creature. Ah, so they have their own Torg My Guardian. They're going to use it here to soak up some damage and kill my Stegodon. At least that's what they think they're going to do. Actually, that is probably exactly what they're going to do. So, yeah, I still think we have to go wide here. We're going to play the Stouthide Stegodon here. Because, again, when this comes in at gold, it's just a beast. It's a beast. We're going to end it there. This mirror of the green wide boards is going hard. I'm actually really glad that I have this deck against this one. Because I can go just as wide. There's a lot of Wisp summoning. And they have an interesting choice here. If they decide to play a spell and leave this unblocked, I'm putting 13 damage to their face. If Torg My Guardian survives, next turn I start buffing it up again because I would lose the Forge and I bring in my creatures in the back row. Just a lot of green baddies looking down each other. Staring each other down. I'm terrified of this Swamp Moss Lurker. I'm going to have to take that out. My opponent still has their level 2 ability that they haven't used yet. And can either use it now or next phase. So they're going to play a spell. To play a Spell Sprite minion here to soak up this damage. And then buff everybody in every lane. That's a very good time for that spell. Their Torgmar Guardian also got a buff from this coming into the back lane. And they still have a little time left if they want to activate their ability. Otherwise, we'll go to attack, and I'm going to lose a big chunk of my board. I'm not taking nearly enough enemies with me. They are going to use their Shapeshift ability to keep the Lurker alive. I respect that play. Here we go. All right. Luckily, my Torgmar Guardian is still alive. I took 3 damage here. It's a close game. Heart of the cards. Hopefully I draw something good here. Wow, we drew Drix and Armored Justicar, which is huge. When you gain health, give this strength equal to that. This is a good card. All right, I have some options here. So they have the Forge first here. Drix into Shard Plate Delver is a pretty good move, too. I wish we got Glowhive Siren early, because this card is nuts. Especially in some other decks where you actually have a lot of health regen. This thing can just get out of control. Oh, wow. Okay, we're seeing a Hibernating Stormling come out. Mobility 1, 8, 7. So, yeah. Let's drop Drix in to help us defend against Oak Daddy. Torgmar Guardian's going to get buffed. We're going to use Drix's ability to play a Gizmo. Let's think hard about this. Right here. Torgmar Guardian going to grow a little bit stronger. And we'll end it there. Oh, I wish I had more actions. Shardplate Delver is good, but what I could do is just play Summoning Council, fill the back row, buff him up 4/4, and then chump block. Because right now I'm at least taking out the Guardian. Because they have the Forge. They won't be playing a card in the back row unless they have a Defender in hand. And the Wisp would take out this. It wouldn't take this guy out, but they might end up moving him anyway. So mobility just means on your turn, you can activate this card to move it up to 1 lane per mobility. So he could move here. You can't move it into a lane that's occupied, though. Oh, they're playing a spell. Pax Blessing. Either give one of your creatures +6/+6, and they did. They are making Oak Daddy very big. And they moved. They moved him over here. So yeah, I don't want to lose my Torgmar Guardian. We're going to do the Summoning Council play. And we will play Wisp minions here and here, which will power up my Torgmar Guardian by 4. There we go. And we go to attacks. So we're trading in this lane. We're trading in this lane. I'm killing this guy. Nothing happens here. And Drix dies. I take 7 damage. And that is the end of cycle 2. So now, cycle 3, I start with the Forge. I have Bark Skin. I can give up to 2 of my creatures 8 armor. They have Growth Aura. Give your creatures +4 health, and then they gain 4 health. Okay. This is the move. Are you ready for this? Palladium Pulse Mage. I will activate it. Each player destroys their lowest powered creature. So I can get rid of my Wisp and we can get rid of that really annoying Oak Daddy. And suddenly we have a clear board. Not for long, though. And Torgmai Guardian level 2 is not going to last, but luckily, we have the level 3 ready to go. And hopefully it'll stick around into next turn when I lose the Forge, and I can start buffing him up. Once a level 3 card leaves play, it's done, and you won't see any more copies of it. So, playing this early, I got to keep him alive, but luckily I have Bark Skin in case things go bad. Ideally, I can keep both of them alive this turn, and then continue to buff them up as the game continues, and hopefully start pushing through some good damage. The state of the board can change very, very quickly in SolForge Fusion, and to me, that just means it's balanced. This is a very interesting game. So the only faction that we haven't seen is the purple faction, which is, you know, zombies and death tricks and stuff like that. But look at that. They have a Blizzard Shaman just like me in my other deck. All right, here we go. I'm going to press the advantage here. Torgmai Guardian level 3. And then we are going to go ahead and use Bark Skin. We're powering up my Torgmai Guardians just to make sure they stick. I want them to stay, and I want them to continue to power up. Putting a lot of faith into these guys. But next turn, you know, if we draw our Summoning Council at level 2, I can bring in 2 minions and upgrade both of these guys. So this deck likes to go wide and upgrade. And it throws a lot of defense around. And with cards like Energy Prison, you can take away the attack power of some of those more threatening creatures, like we've been doing with that Oak Father that was in this lane for so long. Palladium Steel Mage came in at such a clutch time. At level 3, you don't have to sacrifice your own creatures anymore. And the stat line is pretty good. So what happened there? Oh, they played Stampeding Bear into this lane to soak up some damage. All right, success. I kept both of my Torgmai Guardians from dying. We just drew our level 3 Drix and Summoning Council level 2, so we have some good options here. All right, this might be the turning point we needed. However, we have to remember they've been upgrading cards this whole game too, and I'm a little worried of seeing that Swamp Moss Lurker come out while they have 40 health. Whoa. Pyromatic Worm is going to come in and deal 2 damage to my Guardian. Couldn't buff him up before that ability came in, so that was good. That was good for them. But yeah, we're going to bring in Drix. That will give my Torgmai Guardian level 3 +3/+3. We'll use Drix's ability to play a Mega Gizmo to the back lane, which will also power up my Torgmai Guardian. And again, these guys won't initiate combat this turn. However, oh, Palladium Pulse Mage. Let's do it. Oh, I probably should have waited to do that next turn, but I guess they could have taken out my mage. Now they have to refill this lane, so I'm kind of controlling where they put stuff. So if they don't put anything in this lane, they're taking 16 damage. They surrendered? Okay. They conceded. That feels good. Okay. Techno Nature was the name of that deck. Let's switch to the actual deck that we talked about at the beginning here. But that's a game of SolForge Fusion. We'll do another one here with the deck I actually talked about. But yeah, The only other faction we haven't seen is the purple one with a lot of fun, like death touch, sacrifice a friendly creature to do this, drain your opponent's life, blah blah blah. They're not my favorite faction. I don't play a lot of black and Magic. It's the biggest cross reference I could make there. That's what they kind of feel like. I like the combo plays. I like to just get a chain going. You know what I mean? Normally I wouldn't play red either, but in this game, red has like mages and direct damage is really important here. So I did kind of latch onto them, but I think green is my favorite. They just have the healing. They have the buffing. They can go wide. They can upgrade pretty decently. But it's fun. It's been really fun exploring each of the 4 factions and seeing how they mix together. And it's really satisfying when you find 2 half decks that come together really, really well. Like hopefully Rock of Mages does. I don't know if I've lost with that deck yet. Granted, I've only played like 4 games with it, but I did win. So here in the beta phase too, there's not a ton of people. I mean, all the backers have access to it, but they'd all have to be on, Once this launches, though, the matchmaking feels good. I'm excited to see what else they do with it. In the meantime, though, there is a single player. You can just play the regular game against a bot, or you can play a single player kind of roguelike campaign game that feels a lot like Path of Champions and Legends of Runeterra. I don't like it over in Runeterra, but I do like it here. It's a fun way to just play your decks, learn them, try different combinations, and you get rewarded for it. So that's kind of cool. My preferred way to play this game is against other people. So hopefully we can find a match here soon. And hopefully my deck works the way that I talked it up to work. So again, we're looking for my mages to hit the board in combo-y ways. We're looking to control the board with direct damage and spells. And then in the back half of the game, we just push all of our forces in unopposed and take that life total down. My Forgeborn has the ability to play spell sprites, spells for free, and I think its level 4 ability is something like... I forget what its level 4 ability is. It doesn't normally make it to the 4th cycle. Usually it wins before that. But also, all the cards that you've seen me play have been just from set 1. I have a couple of set 2 decks. I haven't loaded them into my account yet. And set 3 is on its way. So a lot of cards, very, very big card pool. But what's fun about this game is you really only... You're not expected to know every card in the pool. You're just expected to react to the cards that come out. And so within the mechanics of the game, all of those cards really kind of find their way. And, as long as you lean into what your deck wants to do, like, I'm going to take this turn to use a board wipe because I think my opponent is going to go wide. Or they've already gone wide, and now I don't have the Forge, so I have a chance to react here. I'm going to play a board wipe. It just all comes down to the timing and a little bit of luck, because as you're upgrading cards, you got to hope that you see them. There is still a chance that you won't see that upgraded version of a card you played earlier in the game. So that's why I like building decks that upgrade out of turn or use a free action to play other cards, because every time you play a card, you upgrade it. So the more cards you upgrade, the better your chances are, right? That's kind of the cadence, at least in the decks that I play. All right, cool. So we found our match. We're ready to go. I loaded up the right deck, Rock of Mages, and we're going to see how this goes. Maybe. Let me in. Let me in. Well, while we're waiting, let me know in the comments if you're excited about SolForge Fusion. Have you played it? Will you play it? What do you think? It's fun. For me, I'm obsessed with the concept of owning your own unique deck. And I think a lot of people are trying to do similar things with that, but in different ways. So Altered, at the time of me recording this, Altered TCG on Kickstarter just passed the milestone for the most funded trading card game on Kickstarter ever. I was like backer 4,500 something. They've made over 3 million pounds, euros. I forget which currency it's in, but it's nuts. And there's a lot of support for it because I think what's cool about that game is there are completely unique versions of cards, like one of ones. And it would be unique to you. The way the deck building works, I think you can only have 3 different unique cards in your deck. However, those are unique to you, and you can really craft your own unique special deck and play the game. And the game isn't like a dueling game. It's not like SolForge where you have life points and you try to take people down. It's a little bit more like Keyforge, which feels like a race. In Keyforge, you're racing to collect currency to forge a key, and the first player to forge 3 keys wins the game. In Altered, you have your leader and their companion on opposite sides of a little grid, and each turn you play other characters and permanents to establish influence based on different types of nature. If you defeat your opponent in that row with more points, for each side, you move one step closer. If your companion and your leader reach or pass each other, you win the game. So it's just a different take on the dueling card game, right? And they take it a step further by making it feel like it's your own identity and your own deck that no one else will ever have. There's not net decking. You know, obviously there will be some kind of meta that evolves and people will flock to certain types of cards, but the lists will always be different. And that's what's exciting. Keyforge, SolForge, Altered, all of them. You have unique decks, and that's fun. It says we found a match, and it's been stuck on the loading screen for a minute. So I'm a little worried about that. Again, this is in beta, so this is not the final product. And again, once it is more widely accessible to everyone who didn't fund the Backstarter or the Kickstarter but wants to jump in on it, I think they'll have plenty of people playing. But I don't know if this match is gonna happen. But the app is good. Like, obviously, besides this, the interface is really smooth. It's simple to understand. It's pretty. Importing the decks were really, really easy. All I did was just log in with my Stoneblade account, and it already had all the decks that I imported to the website. Each deck, just like Keyforge, has a QR code on the back with its unique deck list and its deck name. I'm covering the QR code. But you scan these into the website, and they're in your collection. And you can trade them if you want to. You can keep track of them. You can fuse your decks. You can, just look at what everything has in those half decks. And that is one thing that, Keyforge doesn't have. It's that downtime between games, right? Magic, Battle Spirits, Dragon Ball, One Piece, you're building your deck in the meantime. And then you bring a constructed deck. In Keyforge, you just bring the deck. You don't have to worry about building. But in SolForge, you do kind of have some decisions to make in between games. You're like, I just opened this half deck, and there's a lot of, well, just for example, let's say mages. And you go through your collection, you look outside of that faction, you're like, what can support this deck the best? And then you might stumble onto something like, oh, this deck has a lot of free upgrading, but it's a lot of spells. So maybe I should pair it with something that likes when I play spells. And in red, you know, the minions like it when you play spells. So it's just fun to find those little puzzle pieces and see how they fit together. I don't think this is going to find a match. Oops. We got the one. We got the one. I wanted one more if I could. But I don't know if it's going to happen. Here, we're going to close the window and go back in. Sorry to my opponent. If they even made it in there. We're going to try to get one more on this video. And I'll probably put like timestamps in the description. But here you go. You get to see the app launch up. I also just realized I didn't have the desktop audio going at all. There was music. So at least we can get the music. All right, so we're back in. We're going to try an online battle with Rock of Mages. Finding an opponent. Checking my emails. Found a match. And we're in. All right. Ah, so they are playing Circe, which is purple. So let's take a look. At level 2, they gain life drain. Deal 4 damage to a creature. You gain 2 life. So my level 2, which isn't active yet, is ice armor. You and one of your creatures gets +5 armor this turn. So we're just going to start with SolForge Oracle. So on play, it upgrades, because that's how that works. And then I can upgrade a card in my hand, then discard it. So we're going to upgrade the Bolstering Technohulk. So later, it'll be a 4/8 with 2 armor, and it can give armor. We'll end our turn there. SolForge Oracle is so good for a lot of reasons. On its own, it's just an upgrader and a body. But in this deck specifically, it's got that mage trait, and that's going to really come in handy. And then I have some options here, depending on what they play. Epoch Soldier's cool. It comes in on one of the flanks and gets powered up that way. And then Stormling has that mobility. Venerable Summoner is a defender. Activate if you played a spell this turn. Play a mindless zombie minion. Okay. Yeah. I think we're gonna do this. Bright Steel Gargoyle. And we're gonna activate it. I have the Forge, so it gets 4 armor. So it's a 4/4/4. Giving them a decision here. And then Bright Steel just gets bigger and bigger. So they're playing Suppressing Assassin. So this thing has stealth, which means when it's in the front row, it just ignores anything in the back row. So next turn, this is going to come through unopposed. It also looks like it killed. Yeah, it killed my ether mage. I have my own little stealth guy. And if I drop it into the lane that has their defender, it will go unopposed. They have a Drix. We saw our own Drix. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, we're gonna play the Summoning Giant over here. I can't block here anyway because of the stealth. But what I am gonna do is fill my lanes a little bit. And then Bright Steel Gargoyle is going to give itself some extra damage. Just because it can. Because I don't have the Forge. So my plan is to just go wide here with Burnout. Play a Spell Sprite minion. Power up this one. Then power up everybody so I can get rid of Drix. I don't need Drix playing a Gizmo every turn. I am a little worried about Bright Steel Gargoyle over here. I figure they will just replace this and buff it. But we'll see. I wish I had a place for Steadfast Drone. But I don't get immediate value on it. If I had the Forge this turn, I would have dropped it right here. And it would just upgrade stuff. So no, we're actually going to see Cutthroat Demon come in over here. You may destroy another one of your creatures to destroy a creature of the same level. That is pretty powerful. We're all level 1 now. So they're getting rid of their Gizmo to take out my Gargoyle. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Back to me. So, yeah, we're going to play Burnout. And I think we'll put the Spell Sprite minion right here so that I can take out this stealth creature on my next turn. And we're also taking out Drix. So I'll end the turn there. We'll go to the attacks. Stealth coming right for my face. No attack from the defender. Drix initiates an attack and loses. The demon kills my shaman. And then my guys move up. Okay. So here we have some fun stuff. We're going to play the Blizzard Shaman first. Right over... We'll put him right here. And then we're going to activate his ability to deal 2 to everything. And then I'm going to keep that pressure going with Stormcaller. So, my deck is starting to ramp a little bit. All these cards I'm upgrading are going to come in way stronger. What do we have here? Gloom Reaper Hag. When this is destroyed, deal 3 damage to the enemy player and you gain 3 health. That's rough. All right. We're going to do this. Stormcaller in this lane. And now they have the option. They can either take 3 damage, or I get to play a spell for free. So I assume they'll take the damage. But next time Stormcaller comes out, that damage is increased to 7, and then at level 3 it's 10. So this is a win-win for me. Either I deal some damage here, and then hopefully we take out this Venerable Summoner, or I get a free spell. So yeah, they took the damage. We'll pass the turn. We'll see how they rebuttal. This is the last cycle in phase 1. They're going to cast a spell to destroy one of my level 1 creatures, and then Venerable Summoner will be able to play a minion. So that's not great. That ended up working out pretty well for them. So the battle phase is not going to go well for me. I guess it didn't go super poorly. And now we move on to the next one. So our powers are activated. They can deal 4 damage to a creature and gain 4 health. I can give me and one of my creatures 5 armor. And they have the Forge first, but let's take a look at what we have. What's that thing? Epoch Hawk. It swaps lanes with another one of your creatures. Woof. Okay. What do I do here? Undeady would be free. I'm going to do that. I'm going to play Undeady for free because my Blizzard Shaman has reduced health. And then I will play the Bolstering Automaton And I will give my undeady 8 armor this round. And I'm doing that because I'm going to use Blizzard Shaman's ability to deal 2 to everything, and it would have killed my undeady. So they are going to hurt me 3 and heal 3 because I killed that stupid witch. We're going to end it there for now. I don't like this matchup. Purple-blue is scary because it's mean in the beginning, but then they upgrade really well. And it's even meaner later on. Luckily, though, I could upgrade Bright Steel Gargoyle to level 3 this turn. What do you do? Oh, it has mobility. And probably when you move it, it gains +2. When a creature moves lanes. Oh, when any creature moves lanes, get +2. Oh, this is interesting. They're just jumping around the board and powering it up. And so that's 2 creatures moving. Oh, okay. That's tough. Still no spell. I need to kill this Venerable Summoner, even though I know that they're going to play another one. Yeah, I got to whittle down the board. But who do I kill? I think I take out the Gargoyle. Yeah, because I can't fight here anyway. Do I give this armor? No. We're going to end the turn there. Oh, I should have given him more strength, but that's okay. Oh, this is a weird one. It's a very weird one. And I get to go first. Okay. So we'll summon the Summoning Giant here. And we'll put a Spell Sprite minion here. We're going to kind of do the same thing we did last cycle. And that is Summoning Giant into a Spell Sprite, into Burnout, into another Spell Sprite, into buffing the whole board. So hopefully at the very least at the end of this turn we can clear the board even if we lose our own. Oh, and I do have the Steadfast Drone. Ooh, but no, I gotta kill these things. There's the Gloom Reaper Hag. Same ability. Same ability all the way through. She just gets stronger. Yeah, we're doing Burnout. So play the Spell Sprite minion here, buff this one, and then increase everybody. And then I'll also use this ability to grab some armor. And we'll end it there. And there they go, filling the board. But if that's all they can do, I'm fine with that. I am going to take 2 damage, or 10 damage here. But I'm going to start limiting their options a little bit. I think they're deciding whether they want to drain one of my creatures. If they do, they are. They're going to kill probably this, yep, Spell Sprite, leave this alive. That feels good. That feels good for them. I take 10. But I take out that thing. I take out that thing, and I take out that thing. This mobility here is killing me. Conflict rate is great here. For a lot of reasons. I have to kill this thing. It's getting too strong. I'll save conflict rate for my second action, though, I think. Hopefully they don't buff this with any health, but... yeah, maybe I should just take it out. I could play a mage first, though. That thing also has stealth. Oof. Okay. Give one of your creatures +3 this turn. You may move that creature to another lane if you have another mage in play. I don't have another mage in play. Okay, so we're going to drop the Epoch Soldier over here, and when it's in the leftmost lane, it gets +3. Oops, read that wrong. But that's okay. We'll pass it back to them. We have another action. I gotta find a way to get out of this mess. That Palladium Simulacrum is crazy. And that's just a level 1 creature. It gets even stronger later on. Are you kidding me with the stealth? I got rid of my Spell Sprite minion. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Okay, so I have to use my Forgeborn power this turn, which is fine. Yeah, we're gonna play Conflagrate on you and you. And then we're gonna activate my Forgeborn ability. So you get the 5 armor. And we'll just power you up and move you over there. Because I'm going to take damage here anyway. Let it be done. So, I'm going to take out the Gloom Reaper Hag, which is going to hurt me. Stealth comes through and hurts me. 9 damage through, 8 back, 11 more. And we got a close game here. They will deal 3 and heal. But I did what I had to do. Oh, boy. Okay. So, I believe Undeady is free. Because that is reduced health, and that is reduced health. So I'll save that for a minute, because we have the Aetherforge Oracle. And we have the Forge. So, yeah. I'm going to bring this in here. We're going to upgrade a card in my hand and then discard it. Probably the Palladium Hindermind. And then my level 3 ability is I can play a Spell Swarm minion. Theirs is they can destroy one of their creatures to give another one 8/8. So that's fine. Oh, I should have activated the Gargoyle. Okay, it's fine. They're playing Drix. Drix is going to play a Gizmo minion. They're going wide. Okay. Send it back to me, please. Okay. So first we're going to activate this. Give him some armor. I need him to stay alive. Undeady comes in free. And we're going to take out this thing. Then I have one more card to play. And I might just use Aegis Wings to power up my Gargoyle. I know they'll have a chance to rebuttal here. I'll save my ability. But I have 5 attackers wide. I can't rest yet, though. Really hoping to see some of my upgraded cards come into this next hand. But I feel like I'm doing a decent job. Yes, I'm on the back foot, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on them as well. What is that? Okay. That's the Epoch Hawk. You can swap lanes with another one of your creatures. And luckily it does not kill my Gargoyle right now. But it could if it swaps with the Assassin. Excuse me. Alright, so they're not using any more abilities. Fight here. Fight here. Fight here. Fight here. Fight here. And I like my board state right now. Okay. Brightsteel Gargoyle, level 3. Bolstering Technohulk, level 3. Steadfast Drone. Again, just drawing this card out of order, but it makes it easier for me. I don't need to be playing this. I think I need to just keep the board advantage going. So they're going to use Drix's ability to play a Gizmo minion first, and they're probably going to replace it with something bigger. I've never leaned into the robots this heavy with this deck, but I really like them in the armor that they give some of my weaker creatures. Oh, they have their own Bright Steel Gargoyle. So that's what they did instead. Okay. So the Undeady can get through there right now. They just kind of want to see what I do, it looks like. Let's play the Techno Hulk. And on deploy, I'm going to give my Gargoyle 9 armor and give them something to think about. So right now we're trading, nothing, 6 damage, nothing. I'm playing defensive right now. But defense can yield a good offense here. Okay. So they're going to go wide. Bright Steel Sentinel comes in and gives the robots armor. That won't affect much except this. Drix is not a robot? Okay. So I need 11 to break through that. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Ah, yes I can. We'll replace the Undeady for Bright Steel Gargoyle. We'll buff him up. And we'll leave him in this lane. And then same thing over here. We'll buff him up, leave him in that lane. And we'll move to attacks. So trade here. I will bust through that Bright Steel Gargoyle. No attack here. Don't kill that, but they do kill mine. Do kill the Gizmo. Keep mine alive. Again, we're protecting the board state here, right? And I've got some fun shit coming up here. So we are going to use our ability now to play a Spell Swarm minion. Right here. Spell Swarm minion is the upgraded version of the spell Sprite. When I play a spell, it gets +3. So we are definitely playing some spells this turn. We're going to deal 3 damage to that creature. And then give my Bright Steel Gargoyle 3 armor. And then we're going to give him 6 more. And we're going to give him 10 armor. So my creatures have stuck and survived. I didn't even talk about the robot synergy in this deck because I didn't realize how much there was. So this is great. Bright Steel Gargoyle is now one of my favorite cards. Wow. This feels good. This is a very wide defensive buffed board. I am showing lethal because they have nothing. And their Soul Siphon does not really help them right now. So that's why I just went ahead and triggered my ability, knowing that theirs can't really do much. If they bring anything in with 4 or less health, I'm killing it. Or I can just play another spell, power this up, or just bring in another creature in the front lane. I've got a really good position here. Might be able to push through lethal. We'll see, though. Anything can happen. I'm trying to think what they've even upgraded this game. Oh, yeah. Hold on. They have some big stuff. Deal 5 damage to an enemy player unless they destroy one of their creatures. Yeah, I'll take that damage. Because I'm not afraid of you. And then this is going to work really well for Blizzard Shaman. I think I can open up enough lanes that that we take this one. Blizzard Shaman, activate. And that's why we have all that armor. Is that going to be enough? 5 lanes wide. Can you block lethal? I'm showing 45 damage. If you block the 15, it's still 30. And that is lethal. Oh, let's see. Let's hope. Rock of Mages. They're going to play... Ah, they can destroy a minion and block here. They somehow did it. Not lethal. Not lethal. They hold on. And they're just going to waste this cycle power. So that's good for me. So, attacks. 5, 13, 6 more, and death. So they survived, but I'm still in a good position here. Stormcaller actually might just seal the deal, because I can play Conflagrate and deal direct damage if they allow me to play the free spell. So unless they have some kind of direct damage that hits me 16 directly, I'm about to lock this one up. Oh, I love this deck. I love this deck. This is so fun. So let's just see what their ability is. Upgrade a card in your discard pile up to 2 times. Then you may play it for free. Again, this is the beginning of the new cycle, though, so they don't currently have a discard pile. So their abilities really, really are not helping them against my aggression right now. Stimbolt, play a spell for free. That's my ability. That's insane. Yeah, it's over. It is over. So they're thinking, yep, okay, so I'll play Stormcaller here. They're not going to take that 7 damage, which means I'll be able to play a spell for free. Unless they just want Stormcaller to have the pleasure of winning the game for me. All right, I'm going to play Conflagrate to deal 4 damage to the leader. And just 4 damage to Drix. Can I not select that player? Oh, maybe I can't. Oh, wait, I did. Oh, it's 3. Okay. We got it. Boom. Rock of Mages. That was sweet. Total damage dealt 272. 21 creatures played. 15 enemies destroyed. Rock of Mages, baby. We did it. All right, so that's 2 games of SolForge Fusion, and a lot of downtime in between those. But again, once everyone else is playing the game, I think it'll work pretty well. There's a tournaments tab too, so they're going to hold in client events for the game. And I'm actually playing in the big Kickstarter tournament this Saturday morning. So I might stream that. If not, I'll record it. So if you're interested, excuse me, come back to the channel and check those out. That's SolForge Fusion. Digital, coming soon. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for checking out Absolute BSS. Casual competitive look at a bunch of different card games like SolForge Fusion. Let me know if you liked this video and if you want to see more, and check out some other videos while you're here on the channel. I appreciate it. Have a good one, and we'll catch you next time on Absolute BSS. Bye!